All right, today we're jumping into something that sounds like it's straight out of a sci-fi movie, but it's very, very real. We're talking about a harvest of heavy metals. Let's get right into it.
Okay, how about this for a claim? Clean your water and get rich while doing it, without lifting a finger. I mean, that's the kind of thing that makes you do a double take, right? It sounds almost impossible. So let's dig in and see what's actually behind this pretty wild promise.
So, where does this whole story start? Well, it begins with a classic problem, a huge missed opportunity. We're talking about a hidden treasure, really, something that's been overlooked for years, just sitting there in the muck at the bottom of certain ponds.
So what exactly is hiding in this sediment? Well, think about old mining sites, specifically dredge ponds. Turns out a couple of really valuable things get left behind. First, you've got something called flour gold. It's basically superfine gold dust that the old dredging techniques just couldn't pick up. And second, you have rare earth elements. You know, the stuff that's absolutely critical for basically all our modern tech. Your phone, electric cars, solar panels, you name it. That makes them, you guessed it, incredibly valuable.
And just to give you an idea of the kind of value we're talking about with that flour gold, the source material points out that prices have been hitting crazy highs. We're talking over $5,000 an ounce. That is a serious amount of cash just sitting there at the bottom of a pond.
But here's the thing. It's not just about the missed money. That's actually only half the story. This is a two-sided problem. And the other side? Well, that's where things get a lot more urgent.
Yeah, because lurking in that very same water is a pretty serious environmental threat. It's not just about what's in the sediment, it's about what the water itself is becoming.
And this really spells it out perfectly. You've got these two things happening at once. On one side, a missed opportunity. All this valuable gold and rare earth elements just lost. But on the other side, you've got a real environmental threat. That stagnant, oxygen-starved water is starting to release some pretty harmful stuff.
Right, and this is the key. This isn't just a pond sitting there doing nothing. When water loses its oxygen, it becomes, well, a problem factory. It starts pumping out methane, which is a super potent greenhouse gas. It releases that awful rotten eggs smell from hydrogen sulfide. The water gets all murky and gross, which is obviously bad news for any fish or plants. And yeah, all of this contributes directly to climate change.
Okay, so we've got a two-headed monster of a problem, right? One head is economic, the other is environmental, and they're both living in the same pond. So what do? Well, this is where a really cool innovation called the RAM system comes in, and it promises to solve both problems at the same time. And when you see it, it's kind of surprising. You hear harvesting heavy metals, and you picture some huge, noisy industrial beast, right? But the RAM system, it looks almost natural, like a little floating island. It's not at all what you'd expect.
So what does it actually do? It's pretty simple at its core. It's designed to do two jobs simultaneously. It sucks up that valuable sediment from the bottom, and while it's doing that, it's also pumping oxygen back into the water, making it healthy again.
But how does it work? This is the really clever part. The whole system is powered by air. That's it. There are no complicated moving parts under the water that can get gummed up or break down. It just uses air to lift the sediment up, and that very same action is what oxygenates the water. It's a beautifully simple design. And this really brings us to the whole profit meets planet idea. This is the heart of it. You have a system where making money and helping the environment aren't fighting each other. They're literally two sides of the same coin, happening because of the exact same process.
I mean, look at this. It lays it all out so clearly. On the economic side, you've got the chance for what the source calls extreme profits. Plus, it's super low maintenance, basically runs itself. And for every single one of those economic gains, there's an environmental win to match. You add oxygen, you cut methane, you clear up the water. It's a perfect pairing.
And from a practical, real-world perspective, this thing is built like a tank. It's made to last a long time, and it can handle super hot or freezing cold weather, no problem. And get this, for maintenance, you change an air filter once a year. That's it. It really is that dream of set it and forget it. You just walk away and let it do its thing.
Okay, but let's be real for a second. With any cool new tech like this, you have to ask, what's the catch? Where does it not work? Because nothing is a silver bullet for every single problem.
And the RAM system isn't going to work just anywhere. It's a very specific tool for a very specific job. It's incredibly powerful in the right setting, like those old mining ponds we've been talking about. But it's definitely a niche solution, not some kind of universal cure-all.
And that really leaves us with a pretty big idea to chew on, doesn't it? This whole thing suggests a new model, one where cleaning up the environment could actually pay for itself, maybe even make a profit. So it makes you wonder, could the future of environmental cleanup actually be profitable? What if more solutions were designed this way? It's a really powerful thought to end on.